Hello world, this is Hello Chaos, the podcast about the messiness, the ups and downs, the highlights and low points of entrepreneurship. I am your host, Jennifer Oladipo, with my pal,
Jennifer Sutton, just Jen. She's Jenno.
Yes, to help keep it straight.
That's right.
And so we are super excited to share stories about stories of and with entrepreneurs who are there in the trenches, candid stories, and they can hopefully share things with us that are going to be helpful for you either to learn a really practical lesson or just know that you're not alone.
That's right. And today we have Eric Cooperman with Bottle Titan coming to us out of Travelers Rest, South Carolina. Super excited to have Eric on as our guest today. So
Hi, Eric.
Welcome, Eric.
Stoked to be here, guys. How are y'all?
Good.
Very good.
I want to just jump right into
Yeah.
So we were chatting just before we just started about imposter syndrome, because I had said Eric's famous now and we're glad to have him.
That's right. That's right.
So if you could just start off just telling us a little bit about the company and
Your
what's
journey.
going on. Yeah, what's Bottle Titan, and then we can get into some of the feelies behind that.
Yeah. So again, my name is Eric Cooperman. I'm the founder of Bottle Titan, and I realized something a while back, and it's kind of been brewing for a while. I've been fortunate enough to travel to Napa for wine, and I've been through Champagne and Tuscany, and the wine tastes so good when you're traveling. It tastes incredible. And I've been to breweries. I'm sure you guys maybe have been up to Asheville and been to a brewery, and the brew tastes so good. The beer tastes so good up there, but sometimes not so great in Greenville or wherever you're traveling, because this is a very fragile product, and through the transportation line, through the supply chain, there's a lot of things that could go wrong and do go wrong, and there's very little oversight of that journey between the producer and Greenville, South Carolina. So our company is providing that oversight and the feedback and the communication between the producer, the supply chain, and the importer. That's what our company does.
And just was this a passion project when you founded this idea, or was this wow, this is a gap, I can make money off this, is like a cool business idea? What was it?
It's really hard to say, because I've been in the beverage industry for 25 years, and I love the industry, and I do anything for it. And it really kind of came to head last year. My wife and I were celebrating a little win, a little success, and we cracked a bottle open, and it was bad. And I know the producer. I've been to the winery, and I know that they would never make wine like that. And I know if they knew it tasted like that, they'd be appalled. And they have a legacy to protect. They have a stylistic way of making wines, and it didn't have any of those characters and textures. So it just made me think, we have the technology. I knew something happened along the way from the winery to Greenville, and is there a way that we can figure out what's going on? And the quest kind of started back in July 2021.
Wow.
That is so interesting, because I subconsciously noticed that about the wine. Like, you travel somewhere. I'm specifically thinking of a Gruner Veltliner, which I first had in Austria, in Vienna, like south of Vienna. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is the best. And it was like a bike tour thing. So we were going from city to or village to village in the mountains. So you could taste all these like subtle differences from like the sunny side and all that.
You could smell the,
Yeah. It's like a whole experience. And so then I never, rarely could get it as good here. And it never occurred to me that that's why, because it's a pretty small region.
That's right. And is your background like, do you have just such that good of a nose or a taste to go, that is not what I'm supposed to be tasting right now, or is the wine, like, I know I've opened up some wine, I'm like, but I'm not sure if my palate is as sophisticated to go, oh, this was I thought was this was a $50 bottle of wine. I've had better $10 bottles of wine. You know, sometimes when you taste it, and you're right, just like I would have never thought that it would something happen possibly along the journey to, you know, to whatever wine distributor or wine store or, you know, restaurant that we were in to enjoy that wine. We just thought, you know,
bummer. Boo.
Boo. I'm going to stick to my $10 bottle of wine the next time, you know. But.
And if you're getting a $10 bottle of wine, you can kind of, you sometimes expect that the wine's just going to suck, right? It's maybe not going to be the best wine. It'll kind of do its job.
Right.
But for $50 or for $75, you expect that bottle to be on, right? Like you want a great drinking bottle of wine. And if it's not, then there's heartfelt damage that occurs, right? Like it could be a birthday or anniversary or a celebration or a wedding, and if that wine isn't great, it really does make a difference. And you may, you know, you don't have to have a great palate to know something doesn't taste good. And if you try a new winery or a different style of grape for the first time and it's not great, you won't go back there. So a producer, like a winery,
or a winery
could be making great wine.
Yeah. That would damage their brand. I mean, I would go back and go, well, that was a waste of money. I would have that brand.
Remember
negative, like that negative impression.
And there are just too many options to risk it because it's like, well, that one wasn't good. I don't know.
I'll just go try something else.
And how unfortunate, because the rest of your life. So you figure most of us start drinking at 21, and you could drink, you know, maybe 60, 70 years of your life, and you'll never go back to that winery. And that's such a shame, especially if they're making really good wine and it just happened to be that bottle was off.
So how did you go from, okay, I got this idea. Did you start like sketching this on a piece of paper? Did you start talking to some of the wineries that you know when you work with? Like, how did you take it from, there's got to be a better way to actually creating the company and creating the product? Like what?
Well, that was the thing, is like, what do you do? Where do you go? I've always seen that commercial on TV with the caveman and the wheel, and you're thinking, is that the only option that I have to get feedback and a patent for something that I'm doing? Do I reach out to the community? Can I talk to people about this? Is this novel? Is it something that I should keep close to my chest? And I didn't know any of that. This is a whole new game, because, you know, I grew up with my parents always kind of instilling you do good in high school, you get a good you get into a good college, and you graduate college and you have a nice salary job for 40, 50 years, and you retire and blah blah blah. But and that's what I did in my career for 25 years. But now, kind of moving out of that, I don't have an accounting department anymore, and a marketing department or HR to go, like ask questions to. So it's very hard to make that transition from corporate life into having to have all those resources without having those resources.
That's right.
and knowing where to go and how to start an LLC versus a C Corp versus an S Corp, and all these initial questions that matter a lot to your business at startup. It's confusing, it's overwhelming, and it really felt like I was having to take a leap of faith to get into something like that.
Which parts of your expertise, because you said you'd already been in beverages for 25 years. Yeah. So like, which parts of your expertise did you feel like really solid on? Like, okay, I've got this, I know this part of the business. And then what was the biggest, scariest gap in your knowledge?
So the scariest gap in the knowledge is the fact that I've created in a technology company for all purposes. This is hardware, very state-of-the-art hardware and software development, app development, and my world's beverage. So I've started a very very technical company with no technical knowledge. So what do you do in that scenario? And someone like me, I enjoy having people around and building a team that knows 10 times more about a subject than I'll ever know in my life. I don't need to know everything. I just need to know that the company's headed in a certain direction. And I'm also a person that has an open ear and an open heart. So I take in information from various sources and debate it in my head for days, sometimes weeks, and then kind of go in that type of direction. So, being an entrepreneur has taught me that you don't have to be specifically an expert at anything, as long as you're able to surround yourself with the people that know what you're trying to accomplish, and they allow them to guide you and connect you with the resources that'll make your dream a reality.
Who was your first, like, or one, that first go-to, or maybe that group of go-to people? Like, you had this idea, where did you
Yeah.
go?
So so
Because that was a year ago. I mean, you're talking about this.
that was back.
I mean,
Yeah, so this was like early July. I had already come up with the idea in early June, and I didn't know exactly what to do and or who to talk to. And I don't know, I was on the fence. So I found the platform at Greer, and the platform at Greer is a really good uh, a good community of entrepreneurs, and it's kind of bolstered by the Greer Development Corporation. And every month they get together, and two entrepreneurs go up in front of everyone and present their idea or their business and the roadblocks that they're having. And at that point, I had too many roadblocks to even talk about. So my main goal is just to go there and describe what I'm trying to accomplish, and then get the feedback, the honest feedback from the group. And it was petrifying to be up, and you really did feel like, the emperor with no clothes, because it was very stark. It was revealing, and it's hard to ask a group of people, especially that you don't know, all right, now I presented you some ideas here, now just tear me apart. What do you think?
right.
And we got a lot of great feedback and some guidance. I made some connections that day, and it really set me on a path of realizing that I can't do this by myself.
Yeah. So can
I
I?
need resources, I need connections, and I need a great network in order to succeed.
Okay, so this is like a super critical moment when you get out there in public with your idea
Right.
and let people give you feedback. And so I'm curious about, like, what was the actual fear? Like, what was it you were afraid of? Is it looking stupid? And then how did you? I mean, I guess you just did it. Is how you got over it. But I just really want to, like, kind of dig into, like, what is it we're afraid of when we have these ideas, and it's good in your heart.
I don't know. Sometimes you don't know if it's good, but
True.
I don't know that, Eric, I don't know about
Yeah.
what was your fear? Was it just because it's new and you'd never been like a founder or an idea, that ideator, or was there some other fear that was that was a root cause?
It would definitely go to, we were talking before, just imposter syndrome. you
Mm.
know here I am. I've been a corporate beverage director for years, and now I'm taking the leap of faith, and I'm starting a technology company with no technical background. That's pretty scary, to jump in front of a crowd and say, here's my big idea, what do you think? So you kind of throw the ball out to the crowd, and then you go, "Eek!" Like, what's going to happen?
Don't ask me technical questions, right?
So did you feel at the time that, like, that you should have more expertise before getting into something like that on the technical side?
I mean, I guess everybody would say yes. You probably should have some sort of technical background, but um, I understood right there and then that I didn't have to. And the group, there's people with Michelin. There were people with BMW, like really great technical corporations that were in the crowd, and then afterwards pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I feel your pain. I've been there. I was there 5, 6 years ago. I've been in your position. and here's what I did. This is who I talked to, and it was that instant conversation. To make yourself vulnerable in a situation like that, I noticed the reaction of people was to really embrace,
Hmm.
because they see how in need you are, and they said, you know what, I got your back. I got your back. I've been in your position, and I wish somebody was there for me. Can I provide you some mentorship? Can I provide you the network? Can I provide you just some basic info of what you need, how just that first step to take in your journey? And that made me feel just so incredibly embraced by the community, and that was just my first stop, and it was really some validation
Hmm.
that I needed, that I didn't have to know everything all at once, and it was more of a journey than a race, and that it's going to be okay.
That's right.
That's an awesome
and
first step.
and Eric, let me, what is the nervousness or some of the validation around that? Is it less about technical, or maybe, or more about technical, kind of that background, or more about what it takes to just start a company? Like you had said, oh my gosh, am I a C corp and I'm LLC, or I need to have this framework, or I need to have this legal.
Right. There's IP.
There's IP around that. What was the challenge there? Was it around being like what makes up a founder, or oh my gosh, I'm starting more of a technically based company with data and hardware and software.
No, the biggest hurdle for me wasn't any of that. It was, I'm walking out of a six-figure position, and I'm getting into a situation where my family's asking me on a weekly basis, so did you get a job yet? After having a conversation about, like, oh, I'm starting this new business, and here's my ideas, and then right after that conversation, so are you going to get a job?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's not a hobby, right? I mean, yeah,
This is a hobby, and actually, I had friends debate on if I had a job or not. They said, well, you're jobless. I'm like, well, I'm salaryless. I don't have a paycheck, but I have a job. And they said, well, no, a job specifically relates to a salary, so you don't have a job. You're jobless. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, my calendar doesn't say that. So it was really
My brain's in my
it was
calendar.
it
That's
was
how I know what's going on in my life. So I'm with you on that, Eric.
yeah. So it's a really hard hurdle when and maybe it's just the circle that I have. They're not a ton of entrepreneurs, so they don't understand. They didn't get that it was this whole brand new thing, and I'm creating something from scratch. And for me, that was a real big emotional hurdle of just helping people, I guess, around me understand what I'm trying to accomplish, and how big of a mountain this is to climb.
Mm.
yeah. I feel you. I mean, I remember that when I started the marketing agency, 9 years ago, to get my friends and my family to think of it. It wasn't a hobby. I was like, no, I'm starting an actual company. Oh, so that's something you're just kind of do the gig, kind of pick up gigs. And I was like, no. I'm like, I'm trying to form an actual company with operations.
Yeah.
I'm 6 months out from hiring people. And so I'm like, but have you made any money yet? Well, not yet, but I'm like, or I'm getting, jobs and projects, but yeah, it was, but it took, I would say, not until 2 years later when we bought our building, and we
Yeah.
actually had like a tangible manifestation of the brand of the company. They were
Yeah,
like,
unless you had a brick and mortar, it didn't
oh
exist.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which is so funny because your whole model was like, we can do it differently. We can
we
be
can do.
virtual and
That's right.
nimble and all this stuff.
Because that's right. We were at the time, we were like one of the,
Very few people doing
few
that.
agencies that had a traditional operations and infrastructure, but it was in a virtual model. But yeah, we had so many people that would come up out of the word where, oh, so you're a real job, this was a real company.
Yeah.
This is not a hobby. And I was, yeah.
'Cause
This is what I've been saying for 2 years.
it's not real until you have a doorbell. It's not
But
real.
yeah, so I mean,
look at my background now. I mean, I'm working from the loft in my house. And is this really an office? Is it? Is it not? I don't.
it is.
You really don't have anything physically.
Let's see all the stuff you're hiding from the view.
That's
I'm sure
right.
there's a pile
If
of
there's-
paper somewhere.
No,
Hopefully
it's
there's-
actually not. No, it's
you know what?
actually
Oh wow.
pretty clear.
I was expecting to see bottles of wine and beer is what I
That's
was.
that's not everybody's office.
That's in the cooler.
That's
yeah.
That's right. You got to keep the temperature controlled. He's not messing around. He's serious. He's
That's
a
right.
professional, Jennifer.
But
We've
it's
gone over
true.
this.
It's just funny of your schedule doesn't reflect that. Your mindset is, I am building something that is bigger than me sitting here today, and all those pieces and parts that go together. So what was so you go to this and you're like, okay,
The platform.
the platform at Greer,
Platform.
and you're like, okay, I've been validated. I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel like I'm getting connected. Then what? Did that help you then formulate the company and kind of start building towards that infrastructure, or did you have to go, what was that next step after that?
So the next step. So I walked out of that feeling pretty good, feeling like I had a long way ahead of me, but at least I feel like the community is there, without really knowing what the next steps were. And my wife, she read an article about Furman University and the creation of this new kind of basic, the building blocks of being an entrepreneur. GVL starts, Greenville starts, and it's an 8-week program. It's starting in August. This was mid-July, and she goes, "It may be too late, but you may want to apply." And I said, "Oh, I don't know if I could do that. I don't, that seems like way too serious, and it's probably really expensive." And so flash forward 3 weeks, I'm in GVL starts. It was that quick, and I'll tell you the amount. It was 8 weeks, but it almost felt like a year of networking, of information. Every week was a different topic. Every week was how to form your company. The next week was marketing, how to market your company, how to look, at websites and marketing plans. And the next week was financials and how to financially plan for your business and prototyping. It really was an absolute complete crash course on how to be an entrepreneur in 8 weeks. And my expectations were, it's 8 weeks. It's some little, certificate program. Hopefully I'll learn a little bit. The learning was great, but it was the integration into Greenville and the networking with SCRA and the SBDC and as I said, the city of Greenville. And next, it was just an absolute immersion into the entrepreneurial ecosystem of the upstate. And I couldn't have asked for a better second step after the platform at Greer than GVL starts.
I've been to the folks I've been talking to who've been through the program. That seems to be one of the biggest things that takes them from 0 or 0.08 to 2, which is
doing some kind of a program.
Yeah. And then in particular, that introduction to networking, really deep networking, not just sort of hunting and pecking resources out there. It seems like that seems to be.
Yeah, we've heard that. Eric, we've
people.
been talking to people all over the country, and that seems to be kind of the theme of getting involved in whatever incubator or an accelerator that really immerses you in your community's ecosystem, that entrepreneurial ecosystem. I mean, I'm looking at you're what, 9 months away? I mean, you've been into it for 9 months. July, is still a few months out. You just won a grant from SCRA.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is, it's accelerating rapidly. So what's next? what's on the horizon, the immediate
Actually,
horizon?
Can I ask another question before
sure.
that?
Yeah.
So you're going pretty quickly. You're getting acknowledgement. You're getting funding. I saw you get some support and award the other day. And so does that exacerbate or help the imposter syndrome when you get that next kind of big validation?
That's a really good question, because it almost validates the imposter syndrome, because I still feel like we haven't done much. And my wife has been like the biggest advocate of, just take a look at what you did last week and last month, and where were you back in December, and where were you back in October, and it really adds to the perspective of like, man, we have come a long way, and we have built something. Maybe it's not super tangible right now, but 2 or 3 weeks ago we started getting our first customers. That's insane.
Ding ding ding!
So
Yay,
there's
let's
just so
celebrate
much.
that.
That's right.
That's big
There's
big
so much
time.
to celebrate and look forward to. So to do things like this, the podcasts and the articles that have been put out, it still feels surreal, and I still feel like I'm an imposter in a situation that I shouldn't be. But my heart is telling me that I'm on a great quest, and we have a great idea, and there's demand for it. So I'm pushing forward with all my might, and I've gone into this whole thing, and talking with my wife again, and this is a big deal. We've been married for almost coming up on 3 years. So
you're still newlyweds.
We want to make newlyweds,
Yeah.
and I'm taking a jump into a 100-foot pool, and she's been on board, and the support with that has been incredible. And without that type of support, you really can't do much.
That's awesome.
So it really does kind of help to have not only support from the community, but your family, and I think at this point most of my family understand what I'm doing. So they're finally, I think, on board, or at least know what the heck I'm trying to accomplish. But
are you forwarding them all your articles? Are you sending them like, look, Ma, look,
my
Ma?
wife does. Yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to a really busy summer, and we're working with some manufacturers right now that can get us the IoT hardware that we can use for a POC, proof of concept, over the summer, and then kind of work it from there. But to have companies right now work with us on a beta test for the summer and are willing to pay money for that, pay money to utilize something that may not work very well, that's incredible. So we're really stoked to have that type of opportunity. And again, it really couldn't have existed without support groups like Next and SBDC and SCRA.
And just for those who don't know or aren't aware, he's shouting out a lot of
our lovely acronyms of organizations.
But these are organizations in South Carolina and in the upstate where we're based, and where Eric is also. And so just pointing out all those different nodes, they all have like a little bit different thing that they do in the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
So did you know going in what was SBDC versus SCRA versus
So when I say imposter syndrome, I really truly mean it. Like, some people will come up to me, like, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, like I don't belong here," blah blah blah. No, so back in July, my hand to the sky, I had never even heard of a pitch deck. Didn't know what it is. Didn't know what it was. Had never ever heard of a pitch deck.
Who told you that?
When I tell you.
Did someone go, hey, do you
GVL
have
starts.
oh, gee.
So with GVL starts, you had to have a pitch deck to, at the end of 8 weeks, we had a demo day and a big competition, and you had to have a pitch deck for this thing. And it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm still trying to feel this thing out. I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. My wife's helping me till about midnight. She's like, I'm done. She's in bed, and I'm just putting these things. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You're like, Google pitch deck. What? What?
Google it. And there's just so many YouTube videos you can watch, so you just go insane and figure that out. So when I say, like, I am so fresh to this whole this whole ecosystem. It really is from square one, but it really is a testament to, if I can do it, anybody out there can do it. Really, it's because you can't get more noob than I. So,
But you can see, because now you're 9 months in,
Yeah.
and you know what a pitch deck is, and you've worked the network, and you've gotten funding. So I mean, yeah, there's someone who can lean on you now to clear the way.
absolutely, yeah, and we have to do that as a community, and that's why we started the conversation, or maybe we were talking beforehand about the next Launchpad event, and in the row we were all sitting together, the entire team from GVL Starts, and as a cohort we've supported all of our events, and Dion, who was sitting next to me, she had just done a big release party the couple days before, and I was there sabering bottles of champagne for her, and setting up, and just supporting whatever we can do for each other, because we know, together we can get a lot farther than separate. So we've really made that bond, and then with the second cohort of GVL Starts as well. So we're really building that community. It's almost a subculture within a culture of Greenville, and it's great to know that we can support each other and be there when the small things go awry or the big things happen.
Right.
Yeah, I was so sure she was your mother, because she was so excited. She was the loudest person in there. She was hooting, she was clapping really loud, hooting and hollering, and I was just like, oh, proud mama, that's so great. He brought his mom.
I know
That's a team member. That's
right.
Yeah.
That's called that's a great cohort.
Yeah.
That's when you know
That
you.
is- yes.
I've lost my question.
So I don't know. Was it about? the
I wanted
cohort?
to, so Eric, now when you look on the the horizon, what is next?
So for us, it really is all about technology and software. We have a mad scramble till the summer comes. The summer is only about 2 months away, and we want to do a bunch of beta testing throughout that. So as I said, we have customers. We have 5 customers that are all paying pretty decent money
You're
to
like,
to
"Good."
beta test this.
I feel like I sense a little bit of disbelief when you said that.
It is. It really is. It's hard to believe that we would have customers at this point.
Is it
But,
because
it's also really fun.
is it because you can't believe that because the product's not finished, or that people are taking a leap of faith based on your pitch, your
On you?
It really is. I've sold the dream, and I've sold what we can do, and getting that all together is hard, and to have somebody put their trust in you with their wallet is amazing. So the pressure's on to deliver a great product, to deliver what we've sold them, and it's exhilarating and tearfully just really scary at the same time.
And are these paying customer? Are these people that you knew in your past life, or are these whoa, I've had to pitch to people that are strangers.
So the few things that I do have as a network within the beverage community. So I am fortunate enough to be working with great support from the beverage community. So and we've really built this as building a platform by the beverage industry for the beverage industry. So having their support, and these are small wineries, these are large international wine companies. So just really a good spectrum across the board, breweries of what the beverage industry is, and testing this on so many different levels. So that really is going to be the fun part. And this is it's a really geeky product too. So we're talking like these small little devices that communicate with the world, and it really is fun geeky.
but people that are passionate about their product, right? I mean, that's
and people that are really passionate about the product, or we kind of started out with 100 billion of damage. So you're talking a $3.2 trillion industry, and annually we see about 4% of all beer, wine, liquor. There's theft, there's damage, there's breakage, and that's $120 billion of damage a year. So if we could reduce that by 1%, 2%, 10%, 50%,
Wow.
we're improving the industry, and saving the insurance companies money. We're saving product. Wine is a product that you can't make every year, or you can't make every month. You get one chance a year. It's not like beer, where you can brew beer 24/7. Wine, you get one chance. So if that
Right.
spoils on delivery, that's it. You have to wait another year for that product.
Wow.
Wow, that's exciting.
Those numbers are
Yeah,
crazy. How did you find,
crazy numbers.
or did you do that discovery on your own, or because you come from the beverage industry, or did you, I mean,
So
what was that, like, that sounds like an aha moment of, holy crap, we're going to save some people money. Like, those are some numbers.
Big numbers.
Big numbers.
yeah, yeah. So the 4% damage comes from SBDC and a relationship that they have with Clemson University. And back in December and January, they offered to help me with market research, and they did a 2-month project on looking at logistics, the beverage industry, and all the sectors that could relate to my business, and did this just whole market validation, and all those numbers are vetted through Clemson University.
And so
Whoa.
SBDC is the Small Business Development Center, and those are all over the country.
Right.
So that's a resource that anybody who's watching or listening could probably
There's
find
one, yeah, there's
nearby
one
to
in
tap
almost every
into.
community.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
And
federally
and
funded, right?
what it is completely free to entrepreneurs like us.
That
Free.
FREE.
And something like that
people.
is 20. Yes.
It's like, it's
And
free.
it's free, give me 3.
If it's free, it's for me. That's what.
So I mean, that among so many other
Oh, wow.
resources from SBDC are available to us. You just got to know about it, and
Yeah.
and be able to get in front of them, and ask for the help. Actually, they offer the help. They're there for us.
That's fantastic.
So,
Yeah, I don't think
yeah,
people.
so that's where we got those numbers from.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that. I mean,
I didn't realize they did that kind of
I didn't
market
either. I'm sitting there
research.
going,
Yeah.
okay, I'm now a twice founder. I didn't even know they did
Yeah.
that level of market research.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a former
And we're-
business reporter. I used to write about what they were doing all the time, and I
Yeah.
didn't know they did that. So good to know. Thank you.
So the doctor professor that works there, she not only had her entire student team work on this project for 2 months, but then spent an hour and a half with me, created a 70 something slide deck describing the entire market and sector. It was
Whoa.
absolutely incredible.
Whoa, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we got
There
to
you
drop
are.
that link.
See?
Yeah,
Drop
like-
that link in the notes.
Absolutely.
We're going to be
Yeah,
talking to somebody at
that's-
SBDC.
Right.
That's-
I can Jennifer. She's going to be on the phone like immediately.
I need some numbers,
Between the
please.
next
for my-
podcast. That's how you got to do, though, right? You just got to jump on stuff.
And Eric, and you've mentioned your wife a few times. I mean, in 3 years, I joke, I'm going on my 23rd wedding anniversary coming up
Aw.
Nice.
this summer. So when I hear 3 years, I was like, oh, babies, newlyweds. Back in the day, but is she coming on board with the company, or does she have a whole, career path on her own?
Yeah, she has a whole career path on her own. So we met at the Cliffs, and we worked together there at the corporate offices, and the Cliffs went through a restructuring, and she ended up getting a job at the airport at GSP, and then I kind of moved on to do this. So
and there you have it. But is she gonna join in the fun when you turn to be this, like, beverage industry conglomerate giant.
It sounds like she's getting a good dose of fun already, staying up till midnight on your projects.
Absolutely, she definitely won't. She definitely won't.
He's saying no. He's nodding yes.
Because I dragged my spouse in this. I mean, he left his company 5 years ago to come join my crazy. So he was like, "That's not for me. Marketing, communication, nope."
Yeah, but money.
He's a financial guy, and he did
Money.
not. And it was. And that's how, it just happens I'm doing my own books on my dining room table, and he looked down and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "What, honey?" I was like, here's my spreadsheet, and I'm doing my, balancing my stuff. He was like,
Yeah.
"Give me that." Like, he's like, "I'm embarrassed for you."
Debits and credits and
he's like, "I'm embarrassed for you." Just and he did that for 3 years before he finally kind of
admitted what was happening.
He was doing stuff on the weekends, and then he came on, basically full time about 5 years ago, about halfway in to our journey. So what happens, Eric? She's gonna look down like you're chaos, and she's gonna go, "I need to help organize that."
some piece of it.
At some piece of it, whatever her
Yeah.
gift is, she will bring that gift to you.
So she's the executive assistant to the president at the airport. So she keeps everything in action and
right.
everything together.
I'm seeing the alignment.
You want to talk about structure? Yeah.
She's the hello chaos. She's like, "Hello chaos.
She's
nice
like,
to meet
"Hello,
you."
chaos.
Oh,
I will organize.
Yes.
Tame you.
I'm gonna organize
Absolutely.
Mr.
Yeah.
Cooperman here, and
Very cool.
as you start to climb.
Oh man, it's already time to wrap up.
I know.
Well,
I'm excited for you. I feel like Greenville, is going to be really lucky to watch you grow and truly, become an enterprise. I mean, I think that's your path, is going from entrepreneur to enterprise.
Yeah, I want to see you get. I don't even know if this is a thing, but like, if I knew that there was like a Bottle Titan logo on something, and it was
That's
like a sort of a guarantee.
That's like the what is that the
good housekeeping.
the
seal
good
approval?
housekeeping seal, or
Or the, like,
or
the
the
organic-
intel inside.
Yeah,
do,
exactly,
do,
exactly, something like that.
Yes.
I mean, I would look out for that seriously, because it is a thing. So I'm just so excited about what you're doing, and I hope it gets there someday. That it's like, oh yeah,
And it sounds like
It
someday
will
soon.
get there someday.
What is it? What would it
It
be?
will, and
Guaranteed by Bottle Titan.
we get to set that standard, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That's right.
We get to set that standard.
Yeah, I mean, because we're about innovators here. I mean, I didn't mention that in the promo or in the intro, but yeah, I mean, this is one of the really coolest things about it is just being first or early in the space and setting that path.
You do. You will be first on the ladder.
Yeah.
And this is not this is not Silicon Valley. This is not New York. This is not any big city. This is Greenville.
Southern
but that says a lot
Appalachia.
as well, doesn't
That's
it?
right. That's
Doesn't
right.
It says a lot that we're making this happen, and it's not just my business. There's tons of entrepreneurs here that are making really big things happen. Look at 6 a.m. and how they're blowing up, and
That's right.
and what they're doing for the nation. They're really taking everything that has to do with news and communications to a whole different level.
That's right.
Hashtag rise of the rest.
So Greenville,
Mhm.
that is where we're at. I mean, Greenville is really putting ourselves on the map, and it's through the support of not only the state but really smart people within the city that says we can do this.
That's right.
You can.
You can. That's
Very
right.
Cool.
We can make it happen here. Anything.
So, yes. So make it happen here. You can listen to the podcast here or where, Jennifer?
Oh, you can listen to the podcast at all your podcast platforms, your favorite, Spotify, your iTunes, your Pandora, wherever you get your podcast. Or you can also watch it or listen to it, distributed in our zines, the Innovate zines that are going out to cities near you. Come and All you have to do, it's just gated,
Yeah.
but it's free. Free to subscribe.
So take 3. Get 3 friends.
Get 3 friends. You just need your name and
email
address.
That's it.
And you got it. You
Yeah.
can access to listen to Eric's story or watch his story, because it's,
Yeah.
although we'd love to have people listen to our podcast and subscribe and share and like and comment. We love all that. But we're excited.
It's also a community. I mean, I made a joke earlier about, the all-star cast or whatever of the podcast, but I mean, that's really how we're seeing it, so like either engaging with the digest, engaging with the podcast, hopefully like learning from Eric, your awesome story. This has been really, thank you so much. And that's a part of it.
I'm
so
humbled to be here. Thank you.
join us however you can.
That's right. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you so much.
Bye.